$50 an ounce is just an area where it's going to bounce off of resistance for a little while. And then it should blow past it. And I believe $150 silver is absolutely appropriate for that's when the public started to change their preference to silver. The world's central banks will do the same thing. So Russia is just the leader in this. They are the first. Later on, there will be more central banks adding silver to their reserves. And when that flood comes, when gold starts getting too expensive, even central banks will look at the silver and they'll go, oh.
Russia's recent decision to incorporate silver into its national reserves marks a groundbreaking shift in the global precious metals market. Known for relying on gold, platinum, and palladium, Russia will now allocate 51.5 billion rubles, roughly $538 million, annually toward expanding its holdings through 2027. This move aims to bolster the country's financial defenses against economic sanctions and market volatility, indicating a strategic effort to diversify beyond traditional assets. Silver has long been overshadowed by gold as the primary reserve asset, with central banks stockpiling over 1,000 tons of gold in 2023 alone. Russia's decision to bolster its silver reserves could reignite interest in the metal, potentially driving up both demand and prices. Many experts argue that silver is currently undervalued based on historical standards. Its dual role as a precious metal and a vital industrial commodity enhances its appeal, especially as it is integral to emerging green technologies such as solar panels and electric vehicles. By investing in silver, Russia aims to safeguard itself against financial instability while strategically positioning itself to capitalize on long-term industrial growth. Russia's shift also reflects the impact of Western economic sanctions, which have forced the country to focus on liquid and tangible assets like gold, and now silver. With limited access to financial systems like SWIFT, Russia's decision is a defensive move and a strategic pivot toward assets outside the traditional banking framework. Mike Maloney thinks that while Russia by itself might not push silver prices over $50 an ounce, the bigger picture is about the growing trend of countries stacking up on precious metals. With financial worries increasing, other nations could follow Russia's example, just like we saw in the 1980s. That's when silver became super popular as an alternative when gold prices shot up. He believes central banks might begin shifting their reserves toward silver. If we see the gold-to-silver ratio swing back to extreme levels, like the 120-to-1 ratio we had during the pandemic, it could kick off a new chapter in how countries manage their reserves, with silver playing a bigger role than before. Make sure to tune in for our expert analysis. Don't miss out on future content. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay in the loop. Your support is greatly appreciated.
But when it comes to accumulating reserves, it really should be only gold and silver. And, as far as Russia probably won't push, by themselves, silver beyond $50, but it really doesn't matter. What we've seen over the past few years here, several years, is that, sorry, my phone was, need to put it in airplane mode. The accumulation of the world's central banks of gold, it's been very slow and measured. Like Poland now is in the top 10 or top whatever it is of the countries. They just broke in, they broke through a barrier. They've accumulated quite a bit. They just came out with that statement, I think, a few days ago. When the world's central bank, when stuff starts going bad, and it is going bad, and all you have to do is look at the 30 seconds to midnight series data that you helped me put together. It's in the book about the Fed going bankrupt and about the payments that they are unable to make because there's no profits left. They used to be profitable from 1914 until September of 2022. The Federal Reserve was profitable and turned over their profits to the Treasury. And now they owe the Treasury about $200 billion. They've given the banks $500 billion, and it's all in the 30 seconds to midnight. The Fed is bankrupt. The 30 seconds to midnight series is one that everybody should watch. But as the world's central banks start to rush toward, it's like back in the bull market of the late 70s, people were sort of walking at first toward gold and silver, and then they ran, and then it turned into this big rush. And when it did, gold, which used to be 35 bucks an ounce, was now over $400 an ounce. And it seemed like that was really high, $400 an ounce. And so that's when the public started to change their preference to silver. The world's central banks will do the same thing. So Russia is just the leader in this. They are the first. Later on, there will be more central banks adding silver to their reserves. And when that flood comes, when gold starts getting too expensive, even central banks will look at the silver and they'll go, oh, the gold silver ratio is up at 80 or 90 or what, if the world's central banks start rushing into gold first, maybe that gold silver ratio gets back up to 120 or something like it did during COVID. But at that point, the world's central banks will change their preference just like the public did back in 1980.
Yeah.
And yes, where it says beyond $50. Yes, it's going to be way beyond.
Currently priced at approximately $31 per ounce, silver is seen as undervalued relative to its historical highs. The metal reached an inflation-adjusted peak of $143.54 during the 1980 Hunt Brothers surge and peaked at $68.04 in the 2011 bull market. Given the current economic climate, marked by rising inflation, increasing global debt, and heightened demand for hard assets, analysts believe silver could soon exceed the $50 per ounce threshold. Russia's recent initiative to expand its silver reserves is significant and may prompt other central banks to follow suit. As countries aim to diversify their financial holdings amid economic uncertainty, silver's liquidity and industrial uses enhance its appeal. Given Russia's status as a major palladium producer and a key player in the silver and gold markets, this shift could increase global demand and potentially drive higher prices. Mike anticipates that silver prices could reach $50 per ounce, facing initial resistance but likely surpassing this threshold. Projections also indicate that $150 per ounce prices are feasible, especially as no other asset is currently valued below its 1980 levels. If silver were to experience a bubble similar to that of 1980, historical trends suggest prices could exceed $1,000 per ounce, reinforcing the idea that $50 is merely a stepping stone in its upward trajectory.
$50 an ounce is just an area where it's going to bounce off of resistance for a little while. And then it should blow past it. And I believe $150 silver is absolutely appropriate for we did a chapter on silver in the Great Gold and Silver Rush of the 21st century, and we showed that there is nothing that you can measure in modern society that is selling at a discount to its 1980 price. And then as we looked at the expansion of all of the stock market, the currency, several different measures of the currency supply, the price of real estate, the price of this, the price of that from the 1980 high, it was some astounding numbers. Some of them, if you used that expansion, were giving us quadruple digits. So you were over $1,000 an ounce if silver went into the same kind of bubble against other assets that it was in 1980. And as we know, history very often repeats. I like to say it always repeats, but with little twists. And so, I think $50 is just as sort of a stopping point on the way. It should go up and hit that, and there will be a bunch of people that see that as resistance, and they will sell. But then it'll build another base and blow right through that $50 thing. And that, just remove the word potentially there from the last sentence. Just replace it with go, an ounce, and go much higher. Anybody that was listening to us, we were pointing out gold had a triple top. It had an inverse head and shoulders. It had a big cup and handle. And then I analyzed silver as well, long before this article, and showed that you had this down-tilted inverse head. You had a bigger cup and handle than gold. You had the inverse head and shoulders. you've got sort of a triple top. And I said that when the breakout happens, there's going to be a slingshot move. And there it is. Anybody that wasn't positioned in silver then or buying then sort of lost out on that slingshot move. But, the fat lady has not sung yet. It ain't over.
We're just getting started. And silver's up like 50% in the last 12 months. So
exactly. And somebody could have taken advantage of that had they, a lot of people did listen, but a lot of people didn't. The patterns were so obvious. And then silver was confirming gold's pattern, and gold drags silver with it. For a little while, silver did, when the breakout happened, silver took a little bit of time to also break out. But gold drags silver with it all over the place. There's a fairly tight correlation, but it's not a perfect correlation, and silver lags usually. Right. I just want to say that, for the audience that, yes, he's got this chart in here. This chart is great. Ronnie Stofferle of Incrementum also shows this chart, although he tends to use monthly data instead of daily data. We've been over this many times, and we were showing it as it was developing. And so that 50% move, that's big, but it's nothing compared to when we hit $50 again. So, yeah.
Russia's recent initiative to expand its silver reserves is significant and could create a ripple effect among other central banks. Although the immediate impact of this strategy might not be evident yet, the long-term outlook for silver appears robust. Analysts foresee that if Russia's actions inspire other nations to reevaluate silver's role in their reserves, we could witness a notable price surge, with forecasts indicating that silver may soon surpass $50 per ounce. Do you agree with Mike's predictions and analysis? Please share your thoughts on the video. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications bell for more videos like this. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in the next one.